right, guys. We need to talk about Candace. And we've said this before, but I really think it is 5 alarm fire time, Candace. And Candace, dear, listen, I've said this before. I think you're incredibly smart. I think you're incredibly talented. I think that you've done a lot of really good things. For example, two things I think can be true. I am completely down for the conspiracy theory of Brigitte Macron was born a man. Like, sign me up all day long. I think the Becoming Brigitte documentary or the docuseries that she did was really, really strong. And it wasn't just Candace saying this. These are other journalists, et cetera, et cetera. It's good. It's worth a watch. However, I think as MAGA and as conservatives, like, we need to disabuse ourselves of some of the more outrageous conspiracy theories. Like, for example, like, I guess my penchant for conspiracy theories sort of went out the window over the summer with the Karen Reed trial, with the literal retards that are like, but the McAlberts are getting ready to get charged any day, and we can't trust that GPS phone data and that GPS car data that was manipulated by probably Jen McCabe. Like, those idiots really disabused me of conspiracy theories. Like, I guess just buying them carte blanche. But, conservatives and MAGA types, like, we love a conspiracy theory. So I get it. Like, I get it. But we have to be smart about which ones we want to affix or hoist our petards upon. Anyway, the Candace Owens stuff is getting crazier by the day. Candace initially, never forget, I think, and this is my opinion, I think that Candace got butthurt that she did not get an invite to Charlie Kirk's funeral. I think that's the beginning, middle, and end of this. Okay. And so instead of like looking critically at the evidence or allowing a mourning period to take place, Candace Owens obviously she came in hot and she was like, all right, I'm just going to forget the fact that this Tyler Robinson guy basically confessed to his father and had a gun that we could all see that was like in his pants, and he was walking funny with it, and his DNA's on the roof and the DNA's on the rifle. And we're gonna also forget that this guy had like a tranny boyfriend that was also a furry, and maybe there were different cars that had different states' license tags going in and out of the house for like over a month, and maybe there's a connection with the armed queers of Salt Lake City and the Democrat Socialists of America. Like, Candace, that's a conspiracy that probably has legs, okay? And it doesn't sound like it's really a theory. And I guarantee the FBI is looking at it, even though the FBI evidently, much to Candace's chagrin, does not call her on the bat phone every day and be like, hey, Candace, let me give you the update on what we're doing today. Don't put out any more crazy videos, okay, sis? Anyway, no, they're not doing that because it's an ongoing investigation, and ongoing investigations don't get updates every 5 seconds. But anyway, Candace, this of course, she initially said that it wasn't Tyler Robinson. No. Her sources, her nebulous sources are claiming, well, first it was Benjamin Netanyahu, obviously, because even though he had like a war to run, and even though he had like, a tiny little democracy to protect against Muslims and the Muslim horde and the leftist Western freaks that want to destroy it, and even some parts of this political party in America on the right and the left that want to destroy it. No. He actually was the guy that ordered the hit on Charlie Kirk. I mean, maybe he was here doing it himself. I don't know. Does anyone know where Benjamin Netanyahu was on September 10th, 2025? Anyway, that was the first crazy thing. Why? Because I guess Charlie had questioned something Israel did. Like, again, two things can be true. You can be a full-throated Israel supporter like I am and like Charlie Kirk was, and also have questions about certain things that the state of Israel is doing. It does not change the fact that you support Judeo-Christian values and the state of Israel. Sorry, it doesn't. Anyway, so once she basically accused Benjamin Netanyahu of murdering Charlie Kirk, she was like, actually, you know what it might be? You know what it might be? It might be that other Jew, Bill Ackman. You know that guy who makes a lot of money and is on TV a bunch? Yeah, and who was a leftist forever and then suddenly became pro-Trump because Trump was pro-Israel. It was probably Bill Ackman, and it was probably like this crazy little, getaway that he had with a bunch of Turning Point people to try and get them back on the Israel bus and whatever. It was like obviously Turning Point and Charlie was like off that bus and he was getting ready to cut ties with Israel completely. And so Bill Ackman was like, I'll come in and save the day and kill him. Like, this is the stupidity. Anyway, so there's that. And then she veered off into Crazy Town, even more Crazy Town, I should say, and started accusing people at Turning Point. The people of Turning Point USA, the organization that Charlie Kirk founded and was president of and would not exist without the brilliance of Charlie Kirk. Yeah, those people, they obviously did it. Now, there have been reports that there are people inside Turning Point who are so upset. I mean, obviously, put yourself in the position of the people at Turning Point USA. Not only is your leader and your North Star gone and murdered in the most horrific way, and yes, his wife is stepping up, but is she going to be the same as Charlie? No, because nobody is going to be the same as Charlie, which was the reason that killing him was so impactful, because there has been a void left with Charlie's death. So not only are you Turning Point Action or Turning Point USA and having to hear this woman who used to be in the bosom of Turning Point USA say the most outrageous things and just traumatize everybody all over again, over and over and over again. Then she's got her little henchman, Ian Carroll, out there doing the same thing, twirling his mustache, thinking there's a, conspiracy theory with Turning Point USA. But not only that, but like you are now going out on a limb to say that not only is Turning Point USA, they knew about it, but not only that, they were involved. And maybe even his wife was involved. I mean, she's not saying that Erica's involved, but, maybe. Anyway, it's gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, all right? But wait, there's more. Here's the latest batshit crazy thing that Candace Owens is doing. And I should also mention that there have been reports. So not only is Turning Point USA having to deal with these ravings of a lunatic, but they're afraid to say anything because Candace has such a massive platform because she's so powerful. Anyway, putting power in the hands of only a few people is dangerous, I think. And before I read to you her latest insanity, this is the issue that I think Candace is really causing. And it's causing such a cudgel in between with MAGA. The people that think that because there are other conspiracy theories that may be real, like the stolen election or the pandemic or a certain intelligence board that has a lot of things on there that are really accurate. So we think that because those things that we are pretty sure are true and that happened, then the crap Candace Owens saying has to also be true because we've listened to her and we believed her before. And that's a valid thing to think. And that's why this is so dangerous. It's almost like she's the perfect vehicle to break MAGA into a million pieces. And I would urge all of us, don't let her do that. Okay? Don't let her do that. Let's think critically. All right. Now, here's the latest. Now, a guy named Nathan Livingston, Milk Bar TV, put this out. And I'll put this on the screen so you can read this. She may have just dropped her most insane theory yet. Okay? So I need to give a little backstory. Last week, she also said, Candace Owens said, that she had it on good authority. One of her sources in the French government told her that the Macrons were seeking to have her assassinated. Okay? Now, I actually kind of believe that could be true because obviously they're in the middle of a defamation lawsuit with her over the fact that she claims that Brigitte Macron was born a man. And it wasn't just her, it was many journalists. And she makes a pretty strong case. I will say that. And Brigitte Macron's like, look, here's some random pictures that I've never produced before. This proves I'm a girl. Like, does it? Like, let's get a DNA test up in here. All right, a DNA test and an examination of your insides. Like, do you have a uterus or not? Like, if you could show me that, maybe I would believe it. Okay, so Candace is saying right now that the Macrons are having her or seeking to have her assassinated, which sort of by. Okay, so if we can be like, okay, two things can be true. Candace can be pretty much maybe on the money about the Brigitte Macron thing. And maybe someone in the French government is trying to off her because she is a very prominent, loud voice. And this is obviously a thorn in their side. Okay, you can maybe think that's true. But you can also take what she's saying now and trying to tie it into other crap, which I'm going to read you, and say, no. No, girl, no. All right, here's what Candace is now doing. She is tying Brigitte Macron to the Nazis, to MK Ultra, to chocolate factories, to Mossad.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, that don't make no kind of sense.
To Trump, to Kirk, to the French assassins, all into one crazy conspiracy web. And this is why I would like for her husband, George Farmer, it's time to step in and pull her back from the brink here. Like, she's getting, this is wild, you guys. Okay, so here's essentially what Candace is saying. On her Instagram stories, Candace theorizes that Brigitte Macron's family were Nazis who fled Germany to France during World War II as refugees. Because of Operation Paperclip, a real U.S. program that brought German scientists to America after World War II to exploit their expertise and keep them from falling into Soviet hands, which in Candace's world, somehow this means that Brigitte's family could have been Nazi scientists, and that this is the major, quote, state secret being protected. Okay. This is wild. Next, she thinks that she links this to her ongoing obsession with proving Brigitte was involved in the Stanford prison experiment and throws in MK Ultra for good measure. What? Okay, I mean, I don't even know this link. Like, what are you even talking about, Candace? See, again, this is where you start to lose me, because I can sort of get down for the fact that Brigitte Macron was born a man. But what is this Stanford prison experiment stuff? I don't even know this. Okay, let me continue. Candace keeps insisting that the Macrons randomly mention MK Ultra in their lawsuit. It's not random. Candace repeatedly insinuated on her show that both Brigitte and Emmanuel were part of MK Ultra and potentially Manchurian candidates. Okay, so in the lawsuit that the Macrons have against Candace Owens, they're saying that the reason that MK Ultra is mentioned, as Candace is like, why are they randomly saying that? It's because you do, sweet sis. Like, what? Anyway, all right. This almost makes me feel sorry for the Macrons. Not quite, but I'm almost there. All right, next. Candace next leaps to Project Monarch, which she claims was a, quote, Nazi program and the precursor to MK Ultra. Now, I mean, MK Ultra was real, okay? And that's a whole other side issue. That was real. Maybe there were Manchurian candidates. Who the hell knows? But in reality, Project Monarch was not a Nazi program, nor was it a precursor to MK Ultra. It was claimed by conspiracy theorists to be a later CIA mind control program after MK Ultra. But there's no credible evidence it ever existed. It's purely a conspiracy theory, okay? So now of course, we have the Jews entering on stage left, all right? Now enter the Jews. According to Candace, she claims she received a, quote, tip. Y'all, I feel like these jokers are out here on the mean streets of the World Wide Web going, let's send Candace a tip, okay? And here's the tip. The tip linking Ben Gurion, Jabotinsky, and the Rothschilds to supposedly, quote, protecting the Macron family chocolate factory in France. Okay. This seems to directly contradict her earlier claim that Brigitte family were German Nazi refugees, but never mind. So this connects to Israel because Brigitte is a Mossad agent. Again, this is what I'm telling you. Like, I'm almost starting to feel sorry for the Macrons here. All right. And that, she says, is why Trump allegedly called her, which is still zero proof this happened, and told her to stop talking about Brigitte because she's, quote, a state asset, and this is a, quote, national security issue. So again, Candace claims that President Trump called her. All right? Candace likes to show tweets, or excuse me, not tweets, text messages that allegedly are between her and Charlie that talked about, Charlie turning his back on Israel and whatever, even though most people understand that the last time she talked to Charlie was in 2018 or something like that. So if she's able to produce random texts that allegedly are real, maybe they're not, who knows, then wouldn't she be able to produce a call log that shows that someone with a 202 number and, produce the number, like whatever the number is, produce it. If it's an unknown caller and you can show that you talked to unknown caller for, 25 minutes or whatever, you could say, this is the call. This is when Trump called me. No, there's been no proof. There's been no offering of anything. Anyway, continuing. And somehow this apparently connects to Charlie Kirk, who Candace claims knew 24 hours in advance that he was going to die, and by who? And that if he had told the public, especially Candace, it could have been prevented. Because, Candace is the savior of all of this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, HG Tudor is a great channel to watch. HG Tudor is a person who likes to go on hate Meghan Markle. He's a member of the hate Meghan Markle media, okay? And he is a certified narcissist psychopath, all right? And sometimes he'll put different celebrities under what's called the Tudor scope to determine if they're a narcissist or whatever they are. And Candace Owens is currently under the Tudor scope. And if you had asked me even a week ago if I think Candace is a narcissist, I would have said I think she's narcissistic. I do not think she's a narcissist. But now, with this batshit crazy stuff she's saying, where Charlie knew he was going to die, and he knew he was going to do it. I mean, like, he knew, but he was, he's taking one for the team. He didn't mind getting murdered in a brutal way in front of millions of people and leaving his wife and children. He knew what was going to happen. He just decided not to tell anybody. But boy, howdy, if he had told Candace would have put her save-a-ho hat on and been right to the rescue. This is why I'm saying maybe she is a narcissist. I don't know. But anyway, the plot doth thicken, and it thickens in her head, okay? Because the plot is pretty simple, I would surmise to you. And even though there have been a few things that the FBI has come out with recently, namely that, the assassination, that's all wrapped up in a bow and Epstein killed himself. I mean, wait, you kind of have a point. Wait a minute, am I agreeing with Candace Owens? All right, listen. Setting aside those two things that people are going, there's been zero evidence to show that anything that Candace Owens is saying is true. Okay? Nothing. All right? Some random quote sources or some phone call with President Trump that never happened, that you can't prove happened, is not reality. So I don't know, man. She's making millions off this stuff. She's making millions. She's growing her platform. And it's taking a wrecking ball to MAGA right now. And it's taking a wrecking ball in many ways. And one of the ways it's taking a wrecking ball is it's causing people to maybe be like, I mean, maybe we should go back to like the Bush-Cheney wing of the Republican Party, because at least they're not saying crazy shit like this. Not a good idea. We need to all stay MAGA. We need to all stay connected. We need to all stay on the same team. And when people on our side go off on an insane weeks-long rant and have monetized it and have grown their channel because of it, that needs to be called out. So Candace, enough of this bullshit. We see you, girl. At least I do.